Nice. So we're Group 9, and today we're going to be talking about the Amazon Whole Foods deal. You want to press the next slide? Yeah. So the quick agenda, we're going to go through, you're going to meet us, the team behind this, and then we're going to take you through a little background, highlight the key issues, our analysis, the potential solutions, which are going to be 3, and then the implementation challenges of our solutions, and then our overall final recommendation. So here's the team. I'm John Frucci.
Hi, this is Arnab Bag.
Hi, my name is Samit Dhawan.
My name is Gita Denaya Rizquianto.
And I'm Ashton Armstrong.
And that we're at Group 9. So a little background about the deal. Whole Foods Market Inc. is one of the world's leading natural food retail chains. In 2017, when this deal occurred, there was about 500 nationwide stores. And they are the first national certified organic grocer in the U.S. They mainly specialize in natural and organic foods specifically, typically healthier foods. And Amazon in 2017 purchased that Whole Foods for $13.6 billion in cash. A little more in depth of the financials of Whole Foods. Their market cap is $13.467 billion. And they per year they do about $16 billion in revenue with $5.4 billion in profits. And as we said before, the Amazon purchased Whole Foods for $13.6 billion in cash, which was roughly about their market cap. So it was actually a very fair deal. And the fact that it was they made the deal in cash, that's quite desirable. And here's just the stock price, and you can see it raise up to 2013. And then they peaked again in 2015. And in 2017 right there, that is when, at the end right there, that is when they were acquired by Amazon. A little background of Amazon. Amazon is a tremendous conglomerate, and pretty much everyone is familiar with them and knows what they do. Their market cap is about $565 billion. They do about $178 billion in revenue per year with about $66 billion in profits. They are one of the largest companies, like I said before. Their stock price has soared over the last couple of years, and right now is actually at $2,400. A little timeline for Whole Foods, just so you're a little familiar with the company. John Mackey opened Safer Ways Natural Foods in Texas in 1978. They merged with a local store, Whole Foods, and that was when the organization truly started. In 1984, it expanded to Houston, 600 employees, and they went public in 1992 at just $2 a share. 1997, they had 70 stores in 16 states. And then in 2002 was the first international expansion. 2007, first store in London, and then 2013, first chain to label all foods non-GMO. And then in 2016, they launched this new concept, 365, which was an online e-commerce store to compete with Trader Joe's. And in 2017, they were acquired by Amazon for $13.6 billion. So the main key issues that we're going to be focusing between the Amazon and Whole Foods deal is the fact that this market is already highly saturated. You have Walmart, you have Aldi, Kroger's, Trader Joe's, and so this ranges from grocery stores that are on the lower end spectrum to Trader Joe's, which is more of a high end, and they do something very similar to Whole Foods. And when this deal took place, Whole Foods had about 500 stores, a little less actually. And Trader Joe's currently right now is leading the organic e-commerce market. And the organic foods, if you go all the way up the supply chain, there are fewer possible locations to buy from. So it's not easy. It's not as easy to manipulate distribution. Like, for example, if you're buying bananas, there's only a few organic banana farms compared to the entire banana industry. And so that adds difficulty just with the whole organic and getting that produce on the shelves within a reasonable amount of time. And then the overall difficulty for scalability of Whole Foods due to the distinct customer base. Typically, these customers, they have a little bit more spending money. You really aren't going to see a Whole Foods in a low-income area because this food, this organic food, it's at a higher premium and it's a little more expensive. So it's really not, it's not ideal for lower income areas. So we might run into an issue with scaling Whole Foods on like a Walmart type basis with thousands of stores.
I'll be talking about the analysis of the issues now. We'll have 4 sorts of analysis, and that will be SWOT analysis. Geeta will be talking about the 5 forces analysis and the financial analysis, and then I'll come back for the pestle analysis. Next slide, please. So talking about the SWOT analysis, we have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Speaking on the strengths, Whole Foods presents a great store network. The company sells its products through physical and online stores and mobile applications. It operates 465 retail stores in almost 350 locations across US, UK, and Canada. It owns and operates seafood processing and distribution facilities and specialty coffee and tea procurement and roasting centers as well. They have a great synergy with their parent company. Whole Foods market benefits considerably from the operational and distributional as well as technological expertise of its parent company, which is Amazon. In September 2018, the company, in collaboration with its parent, Amazon, introduced a delivery service that enables customers to order organic and natural products from its stores via Prime Now. Another strength that they possess is their focus on superior quality. The company, as a USDA certified organic national grocer, sells organic as well as natural products. It purchases the products from wholesale suppliers that meet their product quality standards. Talking about the weaknesses, product recalls. For example, in January of 2019, Whole Foods Market had to recall prepared foods because of a possible salmonella infestation, and product recalls obviously have a very negative impact on the brand image of any organization. They have a weak international presence. The company, like I said before, has major presence in the UK, US, and Canada. A competitive environment with reliance on only a few markets poses a weak point as well as a threat for the company. Talking about the opportunities, there is a very positive outlook for e-retail in the US. According to an in-house research, online retail sector in the US is forecast to grow at a CAGR of 8.5% between 2017 and 2022. Another opportunity that we see here is store expansions, and they could do this by using promotional activities, such as in November 2018, the company opened a store in Fort Myers, and they were offering promotional gift cards worth $5 to $50 for the first 500 customers or so. Another opportunity we see here is a distribution contract with other companies. For example, Ascent, which is a sports nutrition company, had a contract with Whole Foods, and they were selling their whey proteins and pre-workout supplements. Threats, there is an intense competition. No doubt Whole Foods is competing in a very saturated market. Whole Foods competes with local, regional, as well as national and international conventional and specialty supermarkets. Apart from this, we believe Whole Foods also competes with farmers markets, restaurants with delivery and takeout services as well. There is a very stringent regulation policy because Whole Foods market operates in a natural and organic food environment. These stores are obviously subjected to various laws and regulations of various industries and various agencies that overlook these are the US FDA, Federal Trade Commission, Consumer Product and Safety Commission, United States Department of Agriculture, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Failure to comply with any of these could result in penalties. Finally, labor wages can also pose as a threat since Whole Foods market focuses on expanding its stores, which will require increasing employee base. Whole Foods will be under added financial pressure to pay its increase in these employees. Over to you, Geeta.
Okay, so looking into Porter's 5 forces analysis, we'll be looking into the 5 forces, which are competition, buyer power, supplier power, threat of substitution, and threat of new entrants. So looking at each of the 5 forces, the competition, buyer power, the competition, buyer power substitutes is pretty strong, but the supplier power and new entrants is at a moderate level. So we're gonna look into these forces individually. So first, strong competition is there's a high number of firms and there's a low switching costs. There's also a high number of aggressive players, as Samyak previously mentioned. And on the Whole Food is essentially subject to common retail competitive forces. That's price, service, and quality. So it's the competition is very hard in a very highly saturated market. Moving on to buyer power, the buyer power as the competition is also very strong. So this is because of high quality of information. Information is readily available and easy to access. So the buyer can easily find out if the product is overpriced or if the product is not what it's supposed to be or that sort of stuff. And again, the low switching cost is also is very easy for a buyer to simply go to another store instead of going to Whole Foods. And then the e-retail provides a convenient alternative, so it makes it again more likely for the buyer to just go to e-retails. And then the individual that do go to Whole Foods usually do small individual purchases, so there's not that the loyalty doesn't exist. Like people can just simply move on to another store instead of going to the Whole Food, which again, more power to the buyer. So for supplier power, the strength is moderate, and this is a combination of both weak suppliers and strong suppliers. So the weak suppliers are those small suppliers, and there's so many of them that essentially Whole Foods has a bargaining power against it. However, there are suppliers with great power, such as large suppliers who they can choose not to supply Whole Foods and do business with other companies. And there are also suppliers of highly specialized products, especially in Whole Foods, since they're providing all non-GMO, all this very highly specialized products. They don't have as much option going into choosing their suppliers. Therefore, their suppliers have greater power. And again, these combination of two of both weak and strong suppliers creates a moderate supplier power for Whole Foods. Now, moving on into substitution of threat, there's a strong threat of substitution because firstly, there's a high availability of substitute, and again, switching cost is very cheap, and in a lot of cases, the substitute for Whole Foods is cheaper than what Whole Foods is providing. So the threat to new entrants is at a moderate level. It's a combination of both relative ease of starting a business and what Whole Foods is doing, and the strong barriers to scale. So it's easy for, let's say, a mom and pop shop to simply open an organic grocery store right next to Whole Foods. And yes, it is a competition for Whole Foods, but it's very hard for them to scale up because it requires a tremendous amount of capital to get into the level of scalability that Whole Foods and Amazon is right now, as well as it's hard to have a relationship with the suppliers and the partner to support their business the way large corporations like Whole Foods does. So moving into financial analysis, so the financial analysis is focused on the revenue and net income. And this is particularly interesting because the revenue from the last 3 years before Whole Food was bought up by Amazon has been increasing. However, the net income has been on the decline. So if we plot it on a graph, you can see like despite revenue increases, net income is on a decline, especially in 2017 will drop sharply. Now, the question is why, despite revenue increases, net income is dropping. Is the reason is because the increases in the cost of goods sold essentially offsets any revenue gains or revenue increases, and this is true for both years of 2016 and 2017. Particularly for 2017, the huge drop in net income is because of the cost of closure and relocation, which jumped over 80 million compared to the previous year, and it contributes to significant drop in net income. And even with if we omit the closure and relocation costs, the net income would still drop regardless. So we think that the main issue is because because their margin is dropping, and the reason their margin is dropping is because they've been selling products with lower margin. So that is the main issue from a financial standpoint. Moving on to pestle analysis.
About the pestle analysis now, we thought it's just to talk about 5 external factors that affect Whole Foods. And these are talking about political factors. We believe political stability and the importance of grocery store sectors in the country's economy is crucial. We also think, off the top of my head, other political factors that can affect Amazon Whole Foods market are, and not limited to, risk of military invasion, level of corruption, intellectual property protection. They can be taxation law changes, wage legislation changes, and these are crucial factors that can affect Amazon Whole Foods. Talking about the economical factors, I'm sorry, there is the issue of economical stability, infrastructure quality in grocery store industry, education level in the economy, the economic growth rate, unemployment rate, and such. Social factors that can affect Amazon Whole Foods could be demographic and skill level of the population, the culture, the attitudes towards health, their attitude towards environmental consciousness, their attitude towards increasing health trends. Um, the technological factors that affect Amazon Whole Foods is, even though they have a very competitive website and even though they are the emerging leaders in e-retail, various other factors that can affect them are rate of technological diffusion, the impact on cost structure in a grocery store industry, the impact on value chain structure in service sectors, and maybe recent technological developments by Whole Foods market and their competitors. The environmental factors that are at play here are similar to any other grocery store market, and they can be weather changes, climate changes, air and pollution law changes, waste management, endangered species, etc. Lastly, the legal issues, since Whole Foods operates in a very intense legal climate, and since most of its growth happened through acquisitions over the years, it's important to understand what legal factors can affect Whole Foods. And these could be, again, employment laws, data protection laws, IPP laws, health and safety laws, and antitrust law in grocery stores industry, and overall in the country that they're operating in. Over to you for the possible solutions that we have.
So after identifying our key issues, as well as analyzing all the data that we collected from Amazon and Whole Foods, we came up with 3 possible solutions. These 3 are focusing on expansion, distribution, as well as domination of the organic food industry. Next. Thank you. So for our first solution, we believe that Amazon and Whole Foods can increase their footprint by expanding Whole Foods across stores across the US. And we believe that they should do this because it will put them more in range with Amazon's already existing 2-hour delivery service. This push will bring Whole Foods to more suburbs and more prime areas where Whole Foods is already quickly adding customers since their merger with Amazon. And this will give customers who prefer to buy groceries in stores the opportunity and availability to go to a Whole Foods market near them and purchase their produce and other grocery and items from us. In order for Amazon to become a major player in the grocery market, we realize that Amazon really needs to increase their store count because as of right now, online sales for groceries only account for roughly 2% of all sales in this market. And although that sounds like a small amount, that does equate to roughly $800 billion in revenue. But in order to increase it, we believe that Amazon does have the capability to increase their number of Whole Food markets by 2,000 and up to 1,000 Whole Foods 365 store locations. So for our second solution, we believe that Amazon can improve on their product distribution. And they can do this by focusing on the current existing distribution and network that Whole Foods has to expand upon their current existing storage capabilities in the United States. We realize that Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh Pickup, and Amazon Go are ideal combinations to meet customer demands from groceries and grocers. In order to scale Whole Foods, Amazon really needs to drastically change the assortment of products sold, which we will get to. But we realize that Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons have a lot of stores, a lot more stores than Whole Foods, and a lot more customers. And we believe this is because they offer products that a majority of our consumers want to purchase when they go into a grocery store. With the data that we collected, we believe that Amazon can build between 3,000 and 5,000 Amazon Go store locations in Canada, Mexico, and the United States, as well as between 1,000 and 1,500 Amazon Fresh pickup locations. And for our third and final solution, we believe that Whole Foods needs to focus on dominating the premium organic food market. And they really need to do this by identifying optimal product assortments that consist of both affordable organics as well as branded CPG products. And these products include Tide, Coke, Pepsi, Cheetos, and other big name products. The reason for this is because Amazon has very few stores because of their business model, and the exclusive focus in organics isn't really a concept that can be scaled nationwide. And this is something that their CEO and founder has admitted to in the past. But we believe Amazon will have to make Whole Foods more like Kroger in order to grow their business nationwide.
Okay, thank you, Aston. So like Aston already mentioned about the possible solutions we have for Amazon Whole Foods in order to succeed in the near future. But while going through these strategies, we have identified that there are problems. So there are definitely some implementation challenges Amazon has to face, and Amazon has to focus on those challenges while implementing any of the recommendation. So first of all, the expansion of Whole Foods, that is definitely a tricky topic. And since Amazon and through the Whole Foods, they sell mainly the organic foods, and they have a tight knit community of shoppers for each location. Expanding of the scale, let's say with Amazon, it's going to be very difficult. And by adding this Whole Foods for another source of revenue, that is also a problematic. So like if we think about the logistical or supply chain perspective, so the logistic of getting this limited supply of organic foods across the whole country within a period of time, that is a challenging task. And from an inside perspective of Amazon, they might be overloading with this interlogic system, and that can affect to their existing product distribution. So there's a high chance that they can be mismanaged while expanding, while doing this product expansion quickly, while doing this product distribution quickly, and that might result in their current distribution goal. So if you go to the next slide, so our recommendation, we feel that the Amazon and Whole Foods, they both are having a good distinct influences and benefits. And if they could properly utilize their strategy, focusing on those implementation challenges, how they could avoid those, they could really get the success. And for that, distribution will be definitely their primary goal. So they need to make sure that they have a continuous focus on strengthening the distribution channel. So they need to increase their global footprints of Whole Foods. They need to strengthen their supply chain, their logistical system. They also need to make sure that they're doing so by concentrating and dominating the organic food market. And they need to also make sure they are using the current Amazon distribution channel effectively in order to under the premium cost of the organic and natural foods. Like initially, John mentioned about one of the key issues is the premium cost. So if they can effectively use the distribution channel properly, they can definitely undercut those premium costs and attract more customers. So giving one example of the current situation of coronavirus pandemic, if we see Amazon.com's Whole Food is seeing a grocery demand skyrocketing. The latest overwhelming demand that Whole Foods delivery gives us, Whole Food delivery says, that clearly gives us the evidence that at least this business is going to be booming. And this is important for Amazon because grocery category itself is the largest retail category in United States. And with this situation, it seems like the acceleration in the usage of Whole Foods delivery, it's going to be probably introducing lots of new customers who might not otherwise would have been interested. And this could create an online grocery ordering habit that would benefit Amazon's long-term grocery ambitions. With this, we would like to end the presentation. Thank you all.